Today, we're really digging into Sam Altman's vision for AI's future.
Yeah, we've looked at his recent TED 2025 talk, the one from the Humanity Reimagined conference.
That one. And
Yeah.
other stuff too, interviews, articles. The goal is basically to piece together his main ideas.
Ideas on AI growth, safety, power, societal impact, all that.
Exactly. We want to give a clear picture of where he thinks things are heading.
And it's definitely worth paying attention to Altman. I mean, as OpenAI's CEO ChatGPT, Sora, his perspective carries a lot of weight.
For sure. That TED Talk in April 2025 felt like a pretty big moment for him to lay things out.
Okay, so maybe start with the key themes. What stood out?
Well, first off, just the sheer speed of it all. He talks about the astonishing growth of AI.
Right, he uses phrases like AI models being extensions of ourselves.
Yeah, and he even said his latest model feels smarter than me in almost every way. That's quite a statement.
It really is. He definitely predicts AI becoming, way more capable and just everywhere, ubiquitous.
Yeah. So the intelligence gap, or maybe the capability gap, seems set to widen pretty fast in his view.
And there's this narrative he taps into, this idea of an inevitable race globally for the most advanced AI.
The race narrative. Others have raised concerns about that, right? Like unchecked progress.
Definitely. People like Tristan Harris worry about that. Altman acknowledges it, but he kind of counters by saying safety concerns do naturally slow things down a bit.
So it's a tension, progress versus caution.
Exactly. But it's not just about raw intelligence for Altman. He also frames AI as this incredibly powerful augmenting tool.
Like the internet or search engine, something that changes how we work fundamentally.
Precisely. He sees jobs shifting, becoming more about abstraction and strategy, humans curating or guiding the AI's output.
So less about AI replacing us wholesale, more about collaboration. Or maybe augmentation.
Yeah, augmentation's a good word for it. And building on that, he sees potential for huge economic shifts, like serious abundance.
How so? Cheaper intelligence leading to lower costs.
Cheaper intelligence, cheaper energy. He's even mentioned things like a universal compute budget.
Universal compute budget. What does that even mean? Like everyone gets some AI processing power.
Sort of, yeah. It points to this democratizing potential he sees that even steady AI improvements could create like super exponential value for society.
Okay, that sounds ambitious. But what about the risks? If AI gets that powerful, that's smart.
Right. And this is where it gets complicated. Altman himself has been pretty stark. He called superhuman AI potentially the greatest threat to the continued existence of humanity.
Whoa. And he admits OpenAI doesn't fully know how to reliably steer and control it yet.
He does, which makes recent news like disbanding certain safety teams raise even more questions for some people.
So how do they manage that risk while still moving forward? What's the strategy?
Well, he says their approach is releasing tech very gradually, giving society time to adapt, to understand what's happening.
Meaning they might hold back new developments?
Yeah, he explicitly said they intend to sit on it for much longer than people would like. Safety over speed, basically. That's the public line, anyway.
And the ethics. Bias in current models, potential misuse.
He acknowledges bias, like in GPT-4, but suggests AI could eventually be less biased than humans. But yeah, misuse is a big one. Authoritarian regimes, scams like voice cloning. Society needs to adapt fast.
There's also the open versus closed source debate. Where does OpenAI land on that?
It's a mix. They open source some things, but keep the core stuff, especially anything near an AGI, proprietary, balancing collaboration with, well, control and safety, they'd argue.
Okay, let's talk about power, because that's a major threat here, concentrated power.
Absolutely. Groups like the Center for AI Policy have been critical, accusing Altman of a, quote, dangerous and unquenchable craving for power, and suggesting safety sometimes takes a backseat at OpenAI.
That's strong criticism. How does Altman respond to concerns about control?
He pushes for U.S. leadership in AI, partly to counter authoritarian rivals, and he actually calls for government regulation, compares it to things like food safety standards.
Interesting. So not anti-regulation, then?
No, he sees it as essential. He also talks a lot about the tech industry needing to bring the public into the conversation about values, about where safety lines should be drawn for AI behavior.
And his vision isn't just one big AI controlling everything.
Ideally not, no. He's expressed hope for multiple, independent, advanced AIs to avoid that single point of failure or control. And that ties back to ideas like universal basic compute, trying to distribute access more widely.
So summing up, Where does he see this all going in the near term? What are his predictions?
He seems confident about eventually building AGI, artificial general intelligence, though maybe the initial impact won't be as dramatically sudden as some sci-fi predicts.
But still transformative.
Oh, absolutely. He talks
man.
about super intelligent tools accelerating discovery, and recently he's predicted a fast takeoff of capabilities in the next few years.
Fast takeoff, like impacting specific fields soon.
Yeah, he's singled out software engineering, suggesting major impacts there by the end of 2025 even.
Wow. Okay. And broader society, jobs, life.
Expect big changes in the job market, some jobs gone, others changed, new ones created, maybe more leisure time. Education transformed by personalized AI tutors.
And how we interact with AI.
Much more naturally, he thinks. Voice, real-time conversation, AI deeply woven into things, able to explain itself better.
But despite all this tech, he still thinks human connection matters.
Yeah, he emphasizes that. Hopes for a future of abundance where AI empowers people but doesn't replace, the human element.
So it's a vision filled with massive potential, but also underscored by some pretty serious warnings and the need for caution.
Definitely.
Yeah.
A cautiously optimistic view, maybe. But the need for dialogue, careful regulation, responsible building, that seems crucial.
Absolutely, which kind of leaves us and everyone listening with a big question.
Right. Thinking about Altman's vision, beyond just the tech itself, what societal shifts do you think are most essential to handle this, to navigate this AI future effectively? And what's our individual role in shaping it?